Guys, the end of the world is upon us. Everything is crashing and burning. The stock market is down. Bitcoin is collapsing. And all of the bears are taking their victory laps on Bitcoin is dead yet again. But is it all something to be so worried about? Obviously, there's going to be panic from people with a violent move down like this for Bitcoin. But is it something to actually panic about? Because it's crazy how psychology works and all this money works, because Bitcoin at 80 something thousand dollars right now is the panic level, and it's the similar panic level we saw when Bitcoin was $16,000 just a year or two ago. So it is pretty funny to see that being the reaction to this. It is a violent move down. Every time Bitcoin moves violently up or down, you have bulls celebrating when it moves up and bears celebrating when it moves down. But the only difference is people who have bet on Bitcoin have been right, and bulls or bears who celebrate these moves kind of look dumb, because the way they celebrate is as if this thing is dead. Oh, and it's still $80,000 a coin. But the move was violent. It was insane. This moved to under $80,000. It went to like 79.5 or something. I think it like wicked down to maybe even a little bit lower, but it did go under 80K. It went to pretty close to the inflation adjusted all-time high, which is like 76,000, 73,000, something like that. So obviously people looking at those numbers, all these charts, at the end of the day, all of that's kind of imaginary lines on a chart. It really doesn't matter. It's just a market. But Bitcoin, for me, I'm not panicking. I want to buy more. These prices are extremely low. And if you love Bitcoin, everyone who loves Bitcoin is celebrating moves down like this. Some people might be exaggerating it and thinking like it's exaggerating is such a great thing just because like they feel like they might have to. Because a lot of people are tapped out. A lot of people have fully deployed in Bitcoin and just DCA every paycheck, and they don't have just a bunch of money sitting around to buy dips because they just deploy it when they get it. So maybe a little bit of it is cope, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are just going to continue buying Bitcoin regardless of what the price is doing, whether it's up or down, which is going to result in the long term the price going up. And one of those bears celebrating is someone like this saying Bitcoin 84K. It started to make me laugh. All the crypto blowhards are getting humbled. We're all getting humbled. Bitcoin is just a measly $84,000. Just a measly 84,000. That's it. Can you believe it? 84K. What are you, poor? What is this? How is Bitcoin not $10 million already? Celebrating Bitcoin going down to $84,000 is so crazy to me, because like that is still a huge amount of money. It's massive. Sure, it's down 20 something percent from its highs. People say, oh, bear market, it's traditional bear market territory, but Bitcoin does do this in bull markets. It has 20-30% pullbacks. So it's not something abnormal, but focusing on the price itself is the funniest part, because this is what people would say when Bitcoin was 16K, saying, oh, everyone's getting humbled. These Bitcoin guys, these morons, they're all getting humbled. They're going to see. And then it ran to 109,000 or something, whatever the all-time high was. So you wish you would have been in there at 16K. And we probably will look back at this and think, oh, all these people taking victory laps at 80,000, that was another good time to be getting in. Because typically that's how it works. Typically everyone who's celebrating, when you see these massive bears, especially Peter Schiff talking about it, it's a pretty good signal that maybe it's oversold a bit, because these guys are celebrating a little bit too hard. And you can also go to the flip side when bulls start, feeling a little bit too confident, celebrating too hard. Maybe it's a local top, but like, it's just funny to me. $84,000 and we're crying. But all this stuff, 250 million liquidated in crypto for the past 60 minutes. This was yesterday. I think earlier before this, it was like 500 million or something, or maybe closer to $1 billion liquidated. So it was a ton of money being liquidated, ton of money being sold. There's this $5.7 billion of options expired today. So more volatility, because who knows if these are betting on things going up or down. So if you can, people playing the options market, if they're betting on something going down, they can try and force the price down and liquidations down to make sure their options actually are worth something, or vice versa. They can kind of play these games, but no one really knows which direction this is going. But either way, $5 billion expires today. So usually when a bunch of like billions of dollars of options expire, you get some volatility, and I mean we saw that massive dump, and now it's up like 4% today. So it's massive swings both ways. And if we want to look at the ETFs, they are continuing to do tons of volume, $5.3 billion in volume on the 26th. These guys are still just, trading Bitcoin. The only problem I have with these ETF stuff is when people look at it and say, BlackRock just bought $500 million of Bitcoin, or BlackRock just sold $500 million of Bitcoin. It's not BlackRock doing that. It's their clients. They're an ETF. So it's people in that ETF who are buying and selling. It's their clients and customers. It's not them doing it. So they don't get to decide, oh, we're going to buy some today, we're going to sell some tomorrow. If people are selling, they got to sell the Bitcoin to give them their cash. If people are buying, they have to buy the Bitcoin to get the people the Bitcoin they're buying. So it's not like they are doing it. But people seem to be stuck on that. They love to think BlackRock's doing this, when they are doing it in one of their portfolios, in this one here, that they added their own ETF, their own Bitcoin ETF into their $150 billion model portfolio universe. So BlackRock kind of, dabbling their feet in a little bit. They talked about the Bitcoin ETF before, kind of, I don't know the exact like allocation they told people to do. It was something like single digit percent. It was like 2 or 3% or something. Maybe it was 5%. They also had, I think Fidelity had a study or something that said if you wanted to, the optimal portfolio would be like 80 or 90% in Bitcoin because it goes up so much. But like these big institutions coming in and saying, oh, we're going to recommend people do a little bit of Bitcoin here. Obviously, they're doing it now because they can charge for that service. They have the ETFs now. They can recommend their ETF. You buy it through them, and then they will, whatever, have the custodians manage the keys and stuff, manage the Bitcoin, but they get to collect their little fee on it. Before, they couldn't do that. Before, they would have to tell you, go on an exchange and buy Bitcoin, self-custody it, cold storage, do whatever you want to do, but they wouldn't be able to get a little fee. They wouldn't be able to leech off you, but now they can, and because they can, it opens the door more for them to recommend it, put it in their own portfolio stuff, and kind of implement it more. But we'll end this off with one of the bigger stories that's going around, rumors, because people are saying this guy is talking about Bitcoin, thinking about getting in. He has this company that you might know called GameStop. So they have $5 billion of worth of cash. GameStop, they raised a lot of money, they diluted, they did whatever they did when they were the meme stock, but now it's like maybe he's gonna buy Bitcoin with it. I think it's crazy to think he's gonna buy $5 billion, every penny of the cash that they have in this balance sheet, in Bitcoin. But he has been talking about Bitcoin. He's been in like Bitcoin circles and stuff. So it's not insane to think that maybe they'll buy some Bitcoin. But I think, saying they're going to put every penny into Bitcoin is not going to happen. But it'd be cool to see them get into it too, right? Because a lot of people follow GameStop, look at it, kind of see what they're doing. They're the meme stock king. So if they do this, maybe this is the step for the future. There's also someone who's saying, oh, the future for GameStop is to be Bitcoin Stop, and change your name and change their model to be Bitcoin ATM store, and you can sell and buy non-KYC Bitcoin. So would that be cool? Sure. Is it reasonable? No, just simply because no government is going to allow you to run a non-KYC Bitcoin exchange. There's already limits on Bitcoin ATMs. It's like $1,000 or something that you can buy or sell before you have to register. You have to put in a phone number or something to use the ATM. I don't know exactly how it works, but there is a limit to it, and then you have to KYC because that's just the rules. No one is going to let anyone run a massive non-KYC Bitcoin empire. At the end of the day, Bitcoin crashing and burning. It's the end of the world at $84,000. Is it actually? Definitely not. More than likely, with people taking such a celebratory lap around this, it might be the best time to buy. We might look back at the end of the year, or maybe in a year plus. Maybe it'll take some more time, but we'll probably look back at this and say, wow, the bears yet again celebrating a Bitcoin death for the 900th time, and yet again, they were wrong. But let me know what you think. Is it time to buy Bitcoin or time to sell it and run away? That's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.